What a gorgeous weekend in the great city of Chicago, Illinois. And we're on the north side at Wrigley Field. The Rockies and Cubs getting ready for game 2 of this 3-game set. Rockies come in 6-4. The Cubs cooled off yesterday by Colorado. They had their 5-game winning streak snapped. They are 8-2, the 8 wins, so along with 4 other clubs, most in Major League Baseball. Another ball game sold out at Wrigley Field today, and Christian Adames is going to lead it off for Colorado. Let's take a look at the Southwest batting order for the Rockies. DJ LeMahieu being given a day off, a little bit of tightness in the groin area, and so he's going to sit this one out. Trey, he is available though. Trevor Story will bat second. Cargo with a 20-game hitting streak, 10 to finish last year, 10 this year. Nolan Arenado will play third base naturally and back cleanup. Gerardo Parra, a couple of hits yesterday. Mark Reynolds back in there at first. Ryan Rayburn, a couple of hits yesterday. Dustin Garneau will do the catching for Tony Walters. And Christian Bergman is on the hill to face the big, strong right-hander Jake Arrieta. Off to, as we said, another great start. And his numbers last year, think about it, you win the Cy Young when you have Clayton Kershaw, who's doing Clayton Kershaw stuff, and you also have Clayton Kershaw's teammate a year ago, Zach Greinke, who had a 1.66 ERA. Neither one of those guys won the Cy Young. This guy did, and nobody argued.
And nobody argued, but it wasn't a unanimous decision that Jake Arrieta was going to win the Cy Young last year. I thought Clayton Kershaw could have won it with 300 strikeouts. You looked at the historic low of Zach Greinke with a 1.66 ERA. We hadn't seen that in years. If any one of those guys would have won it, you go, yeah, you're right. But this guy won it, and rightfully so.
You could make a convincing case for any one of those guys. But Zach Greinke won it, and he's on the hill at Wrigley Field where he has been untouchable, as we mentioned a few minutes back. So here we go. Christian Adames getting the start at second, and he fouls it off. So the natural question, Spilly, put your helmet back on. How do you go about preparing for this guy?
You stay up late. Don't worry about it. It's one of those things. I was talking to Ryan Rayburn today. He goes, you know what? You don't put extra pressure on yourself on a guy like this. He's supposed to get you out. So why add more pressure? Just take your good at bat. Try to get after him. His arsenal is incredible. When you look at his stuff, 93-mile-an-hour average fastball velocity. He can sink it. He can cut it. Loves his slider. Loves his curve. Loves his changeup. He has a whiff rate on that changeup at 100%.
Is that any good?
Pretty good.
Oh-2 on Adames, and he throws a fastball at 95 by him. And there's one out. Here the Cubs defensively. Yesterday was, after the game, as Joe Madden said, it was just a bad day at the office. They committed 4 errors yesterday. Jorge Soler, Dexter Fowler, Matt Caesar in the outfield. Chris Bryant, Addison Russell, Javier Baez back to the big leagues. He'll play second today for Ben Zobrist, Anthony Rizzo. And David Ross not only doing the catching today, but he is John Lester's caddy, so he will catch tomorrow as well. Miguel Montero, if utilized, will come off the bench. There's the veteran David Ross. One out. Here's Trevor Story, 0 for 5 yesterday. And a sinking fastball at 95 in the bottom of the zone. Arrieta, originally a 5th-round pick in 07 of the Baltimore Orioles. And that fastball is swung through. It's 0-2. Makes his off-season home in a place we visit periodically, Austin, Texas.
Yep, played golf with him this offseason at a Houston Street charity event.
Inside, and it's 1-2. That was his golf game, matches game on the mound.
No, he's not Cy Young on the golf course. But I'll tell you what, he offered his time multiple times for the charity event to raise money. He said, I'll give pitching lessons, I'll be wherever you want.
I think Walt summed him up best when asked about Arrieta before the game. He said he has electric stuff and unbelievable command. And when you combine those two things, you get a guy that is a true #1.
Sure, and his mechanics are a little awkward because you see him and you talk about pinpoint control, but he is an extreme cross-the-body thrower.
And a slider strikes out Story. So 2 up and 2 strikeouts for Arrieta. He's fascinating if you study his background, because with Baltimore, he really didn't perform very well. A 5.5 ERA basically, a whip of almost 1.5. He comes to Chicago and somehow he starts figuring it out. Now, they knew in Baltimore's organization that he had a high quality arm, that he had good stuff, but the numbers just didn't back up the arm.
Sometimes it's called tinkering, and you can point to certain guys that help you out along the career, hitting coaches, pitching coaches, but at the same time, you can have guys that hurt your career. And in Arrieta's case, they tinkered with his mechanics, they tried to get him more in line, and it really affected him. Everything that he's doing on the mound today is what he did in the minor league system, not what he did when he was in Baltimore in the major league system. So Chicago really allowed him to be who he is.
And a curveball behind that fastball, and he works ahead 0-2 on Cargo. Cargo, a couple hits yesterday. We discussed a 20-game hitting streak for Carlos, best of his career. Either a two-seamer or a changeup. It's hard to tell.
Watching it, this reminds me of RBI Baseball, that old Nintendo game. Just expecting the ball to just do whatever he wants.
Slider at 91. Check this out. Carlos, the 4th player in the last 50 years to end the season with at least a 10-game hitting streak, and then begin the next year with at least a 10-game hitting streak. David Wright did it. Ryan Ludwig, Big Poppy. During that stretch, Cardinals hit even 400. 2 outs, nobody on, 1-2 on Carlos. And he strikes out the side to begin. And you saw the full arsenal from Jake Arrieta, and a standing ovation as he walks to the Cubs dugout. Back to Chicago as the Cubs get ready to go offensively. Christian Bergman's on the hill for the Rockies. There's the old Rocky, Dexter Fowler. Not old, just erstwhile Rocky, Dexter Fowler. He's the Southwest batting order for Joe Madden this afternoon. Chris Bryant slides up to the 2 spot in the lineup. Struggling Anthony Rizzo next. Jorge Solero bat cleanup. Javier Baez has big power. He'll bat 5th. Addison Russell is batting 6th. Matt Caesar, David Ross, Jake Arrieta. You notice a theme in there, in that there aren't many left-handed bats. That's by design. Joe Madden looked at the splits, and he thinks that righties have a better opportunity against Bergman. So far this year, righties, small sample size, hitting .500 against Bergman.
Well, Bergman will counter that by being able to use his changeup. That's a pitch that he's been going to induce the ground ball, something he's used a lot more last year, and we'll see it today.
First start of the season for Bergman, and he's not stretched out as a starter would be this time of year. So, you know, anything above 75 pitches probably a bonus. The Rockies did make a move before the game, and they put Nick Hundley on the 7-day concussion list, retroactive to last Thursday. That's a strike. And David Hale is with the club, so David Hale will probably piggyback with Christian Bergman today.
Well, you would expect that, or you'd expect using Chris Russin to mix and match as well, because Russin pitches very well to right-handed batters.
The long underhand toss, one out as Fowler grounds right back to the pitcher. David Hale, again, brought up. He was 0-1 with a fine 1.50 ERA for Albuquerque, making a couple of starts. And Nick Hundley will be available if everything works out for him to play against the Dodgers next weekend when the Rockies return home after the 3-game set in Cincinnati. Nick has improved dramatically, but Rockies, erring on the side of caution. Here's Chris Bryant, and he takes a strike. Home plate umpire is Bill Welke. He's the crew chief. And Marvin Hudson's been added to this crew. There's Marvin at third base. That's in there also. John Hirschbeck got hit yesterday in the jaw with a ball that bounced up and got underneath his mask. So John, who had to leave the game, not working today. Clint Fagan at second. Vic Carapazza is at first, just outside. 1-2. And here's why John Hirschbeck had to leave yesterday. And Clint Fagan went off the field after that and got his gear on. Just missed. John Hirschbeck stayed out, umpired for another hitter, and then there was a pitching change. That's when he departed. Clint Fagan went behind the plate, and they went with a 3-man crew the rest of the way. 2-2. Strike 3. So Chris Bryant, a strikeout victim. Christian Bergman. That's one at the bottom of the zone to freeze him. Here's the Rockies defensively. Ryan Rayburn is in left field again. Parr in center. Carr goes in right. Arenado, Story, Adames at second again for LeMahieu. Mark Reynolds at first. And Dustin Garneau getting his first start of the year. Anthony Rizzo had a base hit yesterday to snap an 0 for 19 slide. That's a strike. Tied for third in the National League in walks with 8. Cubs walk more than any team in baseball. In fact, they have 9 more walks than the next highest total in the game, the Pittsburgh Pirates. Well, I like Bergman. He's coming right after this tough Cubs lineup. I've always said this, Billy, about Bergman. He's not afraid.
He can't be. You're on that center mound right there. You got to get attack, and that's what he did right there. Got Rizzo to swing at a high fastball. See you later.
Yeah, he basically matched Arrieta. 2 strikeouts to the 3 that Arrieta had, but a weak comebacker. That was it. Good start for Christian Bergman. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by your hometown Toyota stores, Toyota Let's Go Places, and by Southwest Airlines Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Chicago River downtown. Rockies and Cubs go to inning number 2, and Nolan Arenado, the birthday boy, will lead things off in the second. Nolan turns 25 today. Birthday Nolan. He's only played one time on his birthday. It was 2 years ago.
How'd he do?
4 bombs.
I would have remembered that.
So would have I. Gets underneath this one. It's popped up, and Addison Russell, battling the sun, will make the catch. Well, here's what he's done before the age of 25. 3 Gold Gloves, an All-Star appearance, a Silver Slugger, led baseball in RBIs, tied for the league lead in home runs. He had a 28-game hitting streak. 70s amount of accomplishments, I would say, before the age of 25.
That's a good career.
Nolan was 1 for 4 in San Diego on his 23rd birthday. Here's Gerardo Parra, native of Venezuela, makes his off-season home with his family in Miami. Takes a strike. Inside. 1 ball, 1 strike on Parra. 1 for 9 lifetime against Arrieta. He's actually had more at-bats against Arrieta than everybody on the club save Mark Reynolds, who's on deck. Mark's 2 for 12. 2-1. Arrieta's flat losing it.
89-mile-an-hour slider.
How about that? He threw a 91-mile-an-hour slider last inning. 30-year-old Texan. Plano, Texas. There's another 89-mile-an-hour slider.
You're always trying to figure out your approach whenever you're facing a guy like Arrieta. You're trying to pick a pitch out that you think you can handle. Back-to-back sliders, 89. That's middle cut for Parra, just up in the zone. Little tilt on that, but that's a pitch. You're going to get one at a bat. That's one you need to hit.
Put in play, and Arrieta quickly fields his position. 2 outs. Fans of the Rockies score 7 or more runs. Go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the following day. Between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special with Moss at Taco Bell. So Mark Reynolds will take his turn. Man, it's a perfect day. Temperature right now in the mid-50s, but it's supposed to get up inland into the low 70s today. We're not all that far from Lake Michigan. It's obviously cooler on the lake. Swung on a miss. Reynolds does own a home run against Arrieta. Cargo owns a home run against Arrieta also. Rockies didn't see Arrieta last year.
No, but Arrieta's worst start in his career came at Coors Field against the Rockies. His career highs in hits and home runs and earned runs were all against the Rockies. And
that is a base hit, I believe, up the middle. And that is just a poor decision and a great break for Chicago. Javier Baez, why on earth he threw that ball, I have no idea. It literally went halfway between first and home plate. And if not for the fact that there's a fence in front of every dugout in baseball now, Reynolds would be on second. I mean, he missed Anthony Rizzo by 2 area codes.
I think he's just happy that he got to it and tried to finish the play, but he almost threw it back to Arrieta. See something new every day. That's what makes baseball so beautiful.
Yeah. Here's Rayburn. Skips up there, 1-0. Rayburn, a couple of hits yesterday. Today's his 4th start of the year. Good-natured native of Florida. 2-0. Rayburn, 81 games last year with Cleveland. 82 games actually, hit .301, hit .325 against lefties. He can hit, he's always been able to hit. And he pops up the 2-0 pitch. Baez has it, and that's all for the Rockies. They get their first base runner on the base hit by Mark Reynolds. Middle of 2, no score at Wrigley Field. No scores. We go to the bottom of the second. Charlie Felix, our chief photographer this morning, rented a blimp and went out and took these beautiful shots of the Windy City. We appreciate that. Here's our injury update. John Gray last night in Modesto, 77 pitches, no earned runs over 4 innings. He struck out 8. John very close to returning. Find out in the next day or two whether he will have another rehab start or perhaps make his next start with the Rockies at the big league level. Daniel Descalso remains out. Jason Mott has progressed to where he's pretty close to playing catch, so he's a ways away. DJ LeMay, who's available today, just a little bit of tightness in the groin area. So Soler with a leadoff single, and here's Javier Baez. And this is blocked by Garneau, no advancement.
That was something the Rockies did really well yesterday. Balls in the dirt, they were taking the extra base. That's a missed opportunity for Soler right there. That ball kicked a good 30 feet from Garneau, and he's still standing at first base.
And you know, you'll hear about it, I'm sure, from, if not the manager, the bench coach, somebody will say, you got to move up.
I mean, you're happy you get a base hit, and now you got to be a base runner.
Dave Martinez, the bench coach for Joe Madden. And this is going to be a tough play. Great play just to get it there and make it close, but it's an infield hit for Baez, who's a real good athlete. And even though Nolan handles that play and virtually every other at third better than anybody else, too much speed.
Well, Baez, his first game back from coming off the disabled list, you can see Nolan being able to get that. It is incredible watching Nolan barehand the ball. Swinging bunt, it's already going to carry you to first base, and it's going to be an easy run for Baez to get down the line. First hit of the season for Baez.
That'll bring up Addison Russell. Russell batting 8th yesterday. Today he's batting in the 6th spot. 2 on and nobody out. Off the inside corner, ball 1 on Addison.
Well, Joe Madden was right about the splits against right-handed batters with Christian Bergman.
This is a potential double play. There's one on the first. Nicely done. Good feed there by Adames. You had to get a lot on it because Russell runs well. And that's exactly what Christian Bergman needed there, and a chance to get out of this inning without any damage.
Let's see the changeup on changeup. I mentioned it earlier. Changeup to righties. Not a typical pitch that you see right-handed pitchers throw to right-handed hitters. And Trevor with the nice, easy feed. You can see those guys, 2 shortstops working with each other. But Bergman splits against right-handed batters, 356 batting average and 325 at-bats.
There's Matt Caesar, number 2 sports star at Villanova.
And he's probably happy about that.
Just outside of Philadelphia.
Enjoy this feed as you're watching Trevor Story underhanded to Christian Adames on the Subaru Supermo. You see how he shows the ball nice and early for Adames. He's able to keep his foot on the bag, new neighborhood roll, come across the base, and then make that sidearm throw.
That was well done. This is in the air to Carr going right. Christian Bergman's going to wiggle out of that. 2 hits to begin the inning, nobody out, no problem. Bergman gets a double play ball and a fly ball from Matt Caesar. So we're off to the 3rd scoreless in Chicago. And the Rockies will have 8-9-1. Garneau, Bergman, and then Christian Adames. Rockies fans, join in on the conversation. You know the drill. Send us your thoughts, photos, questions. Make sure you use your favorite social media platform and include the hashtag Toyota Talk. Got a question right off the bat. Any word on when John Gray will be back with the club? We kind of just addressed this, Fisherman Dan. The Rockies have not announced whether his next start will be still down in the minor leagues or with the big club. I think we'll have a resolution on that in the next 24 to 48 hours, so stay tuned. John is scheduled to join the Rockies here on this road trip, which doesn't indicate one thing or another. It's very, it's commonplace when a guy is hurt, especially a pitcher in between starts. Unless it's already designated, they'll definitely start 2, then they'll stay with that club where they're rehabbing. They'll come back, so they want big league players around the big league club. You've been in that situation, Spilly.
Well, and John Gray last night threw 4 innings pitched, 4 hits, 8 strikeouts, 77 pitches. So he is stretched out. I'd still like to see him get to 100 pitches in one of these rehab starts. But you're right. Go on a rehab assignment. He's probably calling Keith Duggar right now and having a conversation. I'm ready. Let's go. I'm ready.
Well, the stuff looks like it is real sharp. 8 strikeouts. I understand it's California League, but you got a bunch of eager young hitters who are excited about facing a big league pitcher. It's not always the easiest thing to just mow through those guys. Here's the 3-1. And Garneau takes a strike 3 and 2. Dustin was in a battle in spring training with Tony Walters and Tom Murphy for the backup job. Murphy was sent back to Albuquerque actually before Garneau was, and the Rockies opted to go with Tony Walters, who was splendid during the spring. Look out.
Almost hit Walters. And Latch is doing a universal sign that you missed me.
I don't know about Scotty Garrett's getup today. There's Scotty to the left of Tony Walters. It's not that cold out. Scotty's acting like, we're in Anchorage. This ball's well hit toward the gap in right center field. And it is cut off there as Garneau is digging towards second, and he is in there with a double. Great hustle by Dustin Garneau, despite a really good throw by Jorge Soler. Well done by Dustin Garneau, a leadoff double in the third.
3-2 pitch. Arrieta's going to challenge Garneau, and that's what you do. You take that pitch. It's not a big swing. It's just a nice, easy, short swing to the ball. And it's Matt Caesar in right field who does a great job to get around that ball. You see how he gets his momentum to carry him towards second base to make that throw.
Yeah, let me correct that. That is my fault. It's Soler in left field, Caesar in right. I wrote it on my scorecard wrong.
Good camera work, boys. That was sweet.
And now Bergman will try to get him to third. Pulls it back.
Look at the slow-mo. See the dirt kicking up. That is just ahead of the tag for Madison Russell.
Rockies with the combination of what the Cubs did yesterday. 18 hits. That's the first non-single. First 17 hits were singles. That misses 2-0. It's important to bunt strikes. Bergman with a good eye, and it's 2-0. Rockies did such a good job in this part of the game yesterday, Spiller.
You have to do it, especially against Jake Arrieta. He's not going to give up a lot of runs. This is a very important at bat for Christian Bergman to do his job to get the runner over to third base.
A little too fine with that bunt.
Well, and this is a situation when you're a pitcher having to bunt, you have to make sure you bunt it towards third base. Chris Bryant's a third baseman. Anthony Rizzo at first base is going to be crashing. You don't want to bunt the ball towards first because that gives a chance for Rizzo to make the throw to third. You want to draw in Chris Bryant at third base so Garneau can sneak into third base nice and easy.
Two and one. Brings it back, slug bunt, and Baez drops it. He's got one play if he hustles, and he gets the out to the retreating Rizzo. Again, it's one of Walt's favorite plays. We mention it all the time. He loves his slug bunt, and Bergman executed it perfectly. Baez was going to go to third to Bryant if he fields it cleanly.
Good job by Bergman just putting the ball in play. Baez trying to do a little too much at second base so far. That's not a play you're going to make on a ball like that. He's lucky that the ball didn't kick too far away because Bergman was running fast down the first baseline.
So now the Rockies with a great opportunity to snap that shutout streak of Arrieta and get the first marker. And that's in there for a strike on Adames, who struck out swinging his first time. It's one of those deals. They're even on the corners, and now they're going to bring the infield in. The infield was back. It was one of those deals where if you get it in play, almost guaranteed as long as you clear the pitcher to get a run home. Now it changes the thought process, doesn't it, Philly Adames a little bit?
Well, it works both ways. If you get jammed right here and hit a little flare to where the normal infield depth is going to be, that's an out. Now that's a base hit. So you're actually putting a little bit more pressure on Arrieta, but Arrieta trusts his stuff. He knows he can get a strikeout when he wants one, and he does. He induces a lot of weak contact.
Garneau at third. Here's the 0-2. Arrieta got him with a high fastball. His first time up.
There's just so many pitches you have to protect against when you're facing Arrieta. It's not just the fastball, and that's the beauty of Arrieta is he won't always go to his secondary pitches for the strikeout. He can use his fastball to strike you out.
0-2, and it's tapped to Rizzo. And Garneau has to hold 2 outs.
The Colorado Rockies Home Run for the Homeless 5K is Sunday, May 8th. Go to Rockies.com/5K to register today. How many miles is a 5K?
3.1.
Oh, I can. Okay.
I would hope. So you know what a 10K is, right?
6.4.
At UCSB education rearing its head again. Huh?
What'd you say? 3.2 miles?
Is that 3.1?
Oh, I didn't hear the one. I wasn't paying attention to what you said. Sorry.
Yeah, Danny wants to know what your routine was. There's a lot of similarities between Trevor Story, how he goes about his business, some of his mannerisms, to Troy Tulowitzki. Yours?
I had a very similar. You always want to let out a deep breath just because you want to relax your body. Every time you're tight at the plate, your muscles don't fire as well, and you feel like your swing isn't as fast. And as we watch Trevor Story, he says he's not trying to emulate Tulo. He's always done a long breath before he steps back into the box. It just happens to look exactly like it. And Trevor has worked really hard with Tulo over the last couple of years, and he said just by osmosis, being around the guy, you end up picking certain things up.
1 strike on Story with 2 outs and a runner at third. That's 0-2. Arrieta is one of the best conditioned pitchers in the sport. A workout maniac. In fact, Joe Madden told us before the game, he said, I don't think I've ever seen anybody with the regimen that he has, really into Pilates. 0-2. Dismissed. That's one where you take a deep breath and pray a little bit that you're not rung up.
All the pitches just off the corner. And that's a two-seamer that almost ran back. David Ross does a good job sticking that.
95-mile-an-hour two-seamer, huh?
It's incredible.
1-2 on Story. He went, and they'll get the out at first base. So Arrieta pitches out of a little jam. The Rockies had Dustin Garneau at third with 1 out after he doubled. Still no score. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. By Wells Fargo, customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. And by Lodge Casino, pitching up a perfect game for cash every Friday and Saturday. Lodge Casino, your first choice for fun. Saturday afternoon at Wrigley Field. Along with Ryan Spilborghs, the Cowboy Tracy Ringlesby, I'm Drew Goodman. First pitch from Christian Bergman, and inning number 3 is a strike on David Ross, hitting in front of Jake Arrieta. 8-9-1 for the Cubs, 3 on the left side for the Rockies. That pitch is outside. Bergman gave up a couple of hits to begin the second, and he pitched out of it. He got Addison Russell to ground into a 6-4-3, and Matt Caesar to hit a fly ball to short right. Well, when you know, Spilly, anybody who's playing at this level is ultra competitive, and you have to be yourself if you're Christian Bergman, but you know what? You're going to belly up to the bar because you know the guy that you're facing is really special, and you have just that added incentive.
Well, you're not going to try to go toe-to-toe with Jake Arrieta, but you're going to pitch your game, and so far Christian Bergman's been matching him pitch for pitch. I mean, it's been impressive to watch.
Arrieta's no slouch with the bat either. 1-2 on Ross, and this is in the air to Cargo in right, near the wall. Oh, man! And he looks like he's okay. Wow, that's scary. When you pointed this out yesterday, you played out there. The line runs right into the wall, so there's literally no room.
There's no room. That line right there is fair territory. The wall is fair territory. As soon as you catch it, there's no room for anything. You can see the line going. It's even with the wall.
Thankfully, it's padded.
Not very well, though. On the other side of that pad is a brick wall that's been there since 08? How long has this field been here?
Yeah, 1914. But at this point, same deal.
Same difference, right? Forever ago.
Arrieta hits one to deep right. Cargo will have another opportunity, 2 outs. And with 2 gone, that'll bring up Dexter Fowler at a comebacker, his initial at bat against Christian Bergman.
Well, this will be the gamesmanship from Dexter. He's going to slow things down to give Jake Arrieta a chance to get in the dugout, get a sip of water.
And he typically, anyhow, sees a lot of pitches.
Sure. These are always the at-bats, though. As a hitter, you know you're going to probably be taking that first pitch, and you just pray that the pitcher doesn't throw a strike.
A changeup off the slider, and it's 2-0. Jason Hayward not playing today. Two and 1.
Well, Dexter was telling me as I was talking to him before the game that Joe Madden does a good job of making sure he talks to his position players and tells them before they left last night that, hey, Jason, you're not going to be playing. Zobrist, you're not playing. Just to give the players a heads up so they can go home, they can sleep, and make sure that the guys that are backing them up, the guys like Baez and Caesar, that they know that they're going to be playing today.
And a walk to Fowler. First walk issued by Bergman. That'll bring up Chris Bryant. I assume you wanted to know when you were starting the day before.
It helps. It helps a lot. Absolutely, it helps out a lot because there's a different mindset that you take when you get into the yard. I mean, obviously, every time you go to the baseball field, you expect to play. But when you're a fourth outfielder or you're a bench player, you know you're not going to. And for the position player that's an everyday player, knowing that night that they're not playing tomorrow, it's a stress reliever. They go, oh, okay, all right, put down the guard, You know the next day is a complete day off.
Just gives you a break from the mental grind, doesn't it?
Yes, you're right.
2 strikes on Chris Bryant. He was caught looking back in the first inning by Bergman. Bryant, a native of Las Vegas. One and 2. Movement from Fowler, and that pitch is fouled back. Chris Bryant hit 54 home runs in his 3-year career for the Toros of the University of San Diego. You used to play against those guys in UCSB, didn't you?
Not the Toros. It would have been like a Tuesday game, just because we had Long Beach State, Cal State Fullerton, UC Irvine, which is where Christian Bergman went to school, and then many more teams that were up north. University of Pacific, Sacramento State.
A lot of good baseball out in California.
Oh yeah. It's not even close, Drew.
Stands are filled. This one's been sold out for a while. First Saturday home game for the Cubs. And now it's 3-2, so Dexter will be off.
You see Garneau and Christian Bergman are trying to go up in the zone to Chris Bryant. Chris Bryant, notorious for having an uppercut swing, and I'll give a story later on about why he has that, but that is where they want to get him out.
Strike 3 once again. Bergman freezes Bryant, and that will end the 3rd frame. We are scoreless in Chicago. Bergman matching up with Jake Arrieta. Front door cutter.
Jake Arrieta, Christian Bergman. And let's talk a little bit, though, Nolan Arenado, 25th birthday today. We decided to talk to some of the Rockies coaches and see if they were capable of remembering what happened on their 25th birthday.
I was playing shortstop for the Oakland Athletics.
I was the third base coach for the Montreal Expos and took over in May as the manager of the Montreal Expos.
1991 was that. Yeah, I was with the Oakland A's, and we were just continuing to tear up the American League.
Wow, 1991. I was in Omaha, Nebraska, and I got called up to the big leagues in September and made my big league debut in Chicago.
1991, I was in Double-A. and down to San Antonio, Texas, trying to make my way to the big leagues. And for him to be 25 with about 3 or 4 years already in big leagues, I'm jealous.
Not just 3 to 4 years. He's got 3 years in. He's got 3 Gold Gloves, a Silver Slugger, All-Star. And what's significant about them all? Players voted him to the All-Star game. His peers, coaches, and managers voted him those other awards. He's earned his due.
You're talking about a really special player, and it's amazing that he's just 25. Usually your prime is thought to be 26 to 32 in baseball. Cargo lost one to left center field. This is going to drop. Cargo now has a 21-game hitting streak. And with great consistency early this season, we have seen him go the other way. He now leads the National League, by the way, in number of hits.
Well, you have to, and when you're Carlos Gonzalez and you're facing a Jake Arrieta, we're going to continue to just mention this. He's not going to leave pitches in the middle of the plate. You cannot have a big approach. You cannot be looking to go and drive the ball out onto Waveland Avenue. You have to give him what he gives you, and his ability to cover that outside pitch. It has helped him out so much this year. On inside pitches, he's handling it as good as anybody in baseball. 389 batting average inside, but away, when he can shoot it away, it gives him everything he wants for it in the strike zone.
Here's the birthday boy. He popped to short his first time, 0-1. Maybe wondering, Cargo's knee is better, certainly than the first part of a year ago. And say, well, this is a guy that's still in the upper 20s in bases. Will he add that to his repertoire again? And I talked to him about it in spring training, and the answer is probably not. Maybe on a rare occasion he may look to run, but you're talking about a guy that's going to hit 35 plus home runs, and the wear and tear. Spill, you could run the wear and tear on your body. If you're going to go try to steal 20 or 30 bases, it's not worth it when you're talking about a guy who hits that many over the wall. This ball is well struck left center field, but it's going to die in the glove of Fowler. And retreating to first base is Cargo. Off the bat, I thought that may have a chance to get over his head.
I did too, and the ball is not carrying at all to center field. It was carrying earlier during batting practice to left and right field, but to center field it is not carrying at all. And going back to your point about stealing bases with Carlos Gonzalez, he went on, because I was with you with that conversation, he said, you know what, even if I don't steal 20 bags, I'm going to pick up the extra bag when I'm on the bases. If there's a base hit, I'm going to go first to third. I'll be more aggressive taking the extra base on balls in play versus trying to get over to second base on a steal.
For guys that truly have 5 tools, and they're rare, certainly the tool of power and speed. I'll throw out as an example, Mike Trout doesn't run like and Mike Trout's a really young guy. Cargo just turned 30, he's still young, but you know what I mean? Where Trout's not trying to steal 40 bases anymore because he hits the ball over the wall. And again, the wear on your body, it's just the trade-off, it's not worth it. That's fouled up. Now listen, if you're a 5 home run guy and part of your game is, it's like Billy Hamilton, he's not all of a sudden going to stop running. That's why he's in the big leagues. If you're a guy that's, a leadoff type, like Charlie can hit it over the wall, but Charlie's still going to run because he understands that's a big part of his game and where he hits in the Rockies lineup.
Well, and Cargo's so smart that he knows maybe a guy like Arrieta is going to be a stolen base candidate just because you're not going to be driving the ball out of the yard. You're not going to see a lot of extra base hits.
It could be one of those rare spots where he goes, you know what? Bergman's pitching well. Not going to get many opportunities against Arrieta, to your point. Let's see if I can get a bat. Of course, Eric Young's here with the stopwatch. He's going to let him know what the times are to the plate. 1-1 on Parra, 2-1. Again, got a hit and run candidate.
Well, as a base runner, you're thinking of all the different scenarios. Parra's a left-handed hitter. Rizzo's standing on first base, holding me on. If I steal second, now Rizzo comes off the bag. If he hits a ball through the hole, that's an out. Where if I stay on the base, it's a base hit.
And Arrieta, true to form with power pitchers that typically don't give up a lot of hits. He was fairly slow to the plate. He was around 1.45 to the plate.
You can steal second on 1.45. 1.35 to 1.55 is usually a green zone for a base runner, depending on their speed.
2-2 Cargo takes off, swung on and missed. Ross's throw to second, right on the bag, and he got it. Perfect throw from David Ross, and that's what it would take to get Cargo, who got a pretty good jump. So that'll end the inning. And we're in the middle of the fourth, still no score. Rockies and Cubs at Wrigley. Christian Bergman has pitched well. You expect Jake Arrieta to pitch well. And as we go to the fourth inning, Bergman will face Anthony Rizzo, Jorge Soler, and Javier Baez, 3, 4, and 5 in that Cubs lineup. Bleachers are packed, and the breaking ball is hit to deep right field, and this one is going to land in the seats. Anthony Rizzo has his 3rd home run of the year, and the Cubs take a 1-0 lead. Rizzo had been scuffling, 1 for his previous 21, and he took a slider and hit it out to right.
Well, Rizzo jumping on a first pitch that he saw, got the leg kick down early. He knew it right off the bat. Swing reminds me so much of a former Rocky, Brad Hawk. Leg kick, hands low, great low ball hitter. Cargo in right field was deking us. It looks like we're going to have back-to-back home runs.
That is way out of here by Soler, and it's 2-0. Second for Soler. Big, strong man, 6'5", about 235, 240 pounds. And it's the same pitch.
You don't expect back-to-back homers on first pitch curveballs. And Chicago, being a very patient hitting team, they've come after Christian Bergman in this inning.
Oh, 0-1 on Baez. Sliders low, 1-1. Cubs were held to 1 run yesterday, which is unusual, at least so far in 2016. They came in the highest scoring team in baseball yesterday at 7.1 runs a game. Now they dropped down to second. Cubs have 12 home runs this season. 5 have come on the first pitch of an at-bat. Two and two on Javier Baez. Baez had 4 starts down in Iowa, and he played 4 different positions: short, second, third, and left field. Spring training, as natural shortstop, he started moving him around the outfield.
I was listening to Joe Madden talk about Javier Baez before the game, and he was saying that Baez, now that he's back on the team after being activated from the disabled list, has a very high maintenance swing. You can see it. He has a bat waggle, he's big leg kick, so he's hoping to get Baez at least 2 to 3 starts a week.
Swung on and missed with that big swing, and Bergman strikes out Baez for the first out in the inning after the pair of home runs. This was how unusual yesterday's game was, that the Rockies won 6-1. It was the first time since August 3rd, 2002 that the Rockies had held the Cubs to a run or less at Wrigley Field. And it's happened 10 times. The Rockies, naturally, you figure they're going to win those games. But it had been 14 years since they were able to limit the Cubs to 1 run or less. Great pitching performance by Chad Bettis. 6 shutout innings. Now through 3 games, he has a sub-3 ERA. Madison Russell takes another strike. It's 0-2. Four strikeouts for Bergman. And this is in the air to shallow right. Cargo will come in and make the catch. Yesterday, Spilly, with the work that Bettis did and the really nice performance the other day by Jorge De La Rosa, the Rockies got depth from their starting pitcher 2 games in a row. It's really the first time it's happened this year.
You have to have that. I think if you look at the season stats, and when you're looking at starting pitchers going over 6 innings, this Cub team has an active streak going right now of 6+ innings, 10 straight starts. And for the Rockies, if they get another one, this will make 3 in a row.
Matt Caesar slams it to deep left field. Rayburn goes back. He makes the catch. And that will end the inning. Back-to-back home runs. Anthony Rizzo to right, Jorge Soler to left center field, and the Cubs have a 2-0 lead for Jake Arrieta. Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Sears Tower in Chicago in the background. The tallest buildings in the world. Cubs 2, Rockies nothing. pair of home runs from Anthony Rizzo, and Jorge Soler will go to the 5th inning. Jake Arrieta will face Mark Reynolds, Ryan Rayburn, and Dustin Garneau. He's thrown 56 pitches in 4 innings. Christian Bergman 53 pitches in 4 innings. Both guys have been efficient. In fact, we see Arrieta's averaging 14 pitches per inning in this start, coming in 13.4 pitches in his first 2 outings per inning, which was the lowest in baseball. I mean, the average is around 17.1. You're talking about 4 pitches less, and it's interesting because you're talking about a guy who strikes a lot of guys out also.
Just means I got to get my story in really quick.
Yes.
So I have one for you.
You got one?
Jake Arrieta has thrown 22 consecutive quality starts and broke a record from the Chicago Cubs previously held by Lon Warnicki. Have you ever heard of that guy?
Lon was terrific.
1933, 17 consecutive quality starts. Well, what makes this guy interesting is that he played in the first All-Star game in 1933 and scored the first run while he was pitching. So he scored the first run in an All-Star game. He also pitched in a World Series. And it doesn't stop there, Drew, as Mark Reynolds takes a strike look at him. He ended up being an umpire and umpired in a World Series and an All-Star game too. He's the only one that's ever done that.
And he had a great nickname. If I remember right, he was known as the Arkansas Hummingbird.
I don't know why, but yes. The Arkansas Hummingbird.
How about that? That is an interesting story, Spoke. Mark Reynolds is strikeout victim number 6, 1 out. That'll bring up Ryan Rayburn. He popped to second his first time. He takes ball 1. Rockies have won 3 consecutive games. They're 3-1 so far this year out on the road. Like David Hale is starting to throw down in the Rockies' pen. You'd think if you're Walt, if you'd like, you certainly could get another inning out of Bergman at 53 pitches. We figure he'd probably be good for somewhere close to 70, 75. We'll see, though. I think he's not completely stretched out.
No, but you're just looking at a potential pinch hit situation. If you get a double right here and Garneau has an opportunity to come up, or you're going to take a shot with your bench, with a Ben Paulson or a Brandon Barnes to try to score a run off Jake Arrieta.
You got to take advantage of every opportunity. You almost manage it differently, especially now that you have a 2-run deficit, than what you ordinarily would do against, you know, middle of the rotation starter. Walt did a marvelous job managing that ball game yesterday. Rockies really took advantage of every opportunity. This is down the right field line. It's near that wall, and it's out of play.
I have one more quick story for you about Lon Warnicki, the Arkansas Hummingbird. Originally drafted by the St. Louis Cardinals.
This is a distant relative of yours?
Yeah, no, I was really interested this morning. I mean, I was scouring the internet for this stuff. Lon, after he had a successful career with the Cubs, the St. Louis Cardinals went and re-established rules in their minor league system by saying in order to release somebody, 2 people have to see it.
Strikeout of Rayburn. If you get released, what do you mean?
So in order for someone to release a player, they needed multiple people to say, hey, this guy's not good, we're going to get rid of him. It was because of Lon Warnicki.
Really?
The Arkansas Hummingbird.
The Arkansas Hummingbird. Dustin Garneau ripped a double to right center field until the 2 home runs by the Cubs last inning. It was the only extra base hit of this series. Rockies had 10 hits yesterday, all singles. Here's a Toyota Talk question. With Huntley on the concussion DL, what are they looking for from him before he can return? If you're talking about Nick, I mean, he's got to pass all the concussion tests. This is a slow roller to Madison Russell. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Arrieta. He's got to be 100% with all the concussion tests and obviously feel right before the Rockies will take him off the concussion list. 2-0 Cubs. Heroes. The Cubs have a 2-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. 8-9-1 for the Cubbies. Time for the timeless moment brought to you by Coors Banquet. On this date in 1940, on a 47-degree day, Bob Feller of the Indians throws the first and only opening day no-no in Major League history, defeating the White Sox 1-0. Rapid Robert Feller. Coors timeless moment. Christian Bergman remains in there. David Ross will step up. He had a fly ball to right field. Cargo made a nice catch running into that brick wall that's slightly padded. He's back in inning number 3.
If you're a baseball fan and you want to watch a great documentary, and there's one about, it's called Fastball, and it documents the rise of the fastball and timing it, and Bob Feller's in it. And I've never seen videos of Bob Feller pitch. And he was throwing 98 miles an hour.
They had you were telling me this because I didn't see it, but that's where they had the back in the day. They rigged something.
Some contraption, yeah.
And a swing and a miss. 5 strikeouts for Bergman. But they calculated how fast his pitches were going. Didn't they also have, like back in the day, the motorcycle whiz by and
exactly.
throw it as soon as he goes by, and he's going to go by at 90 miles an hour?
As soon as the motorcycle drives by, Bob threw it. And reminds me of the same mechanics. There's the contraption. Yeah, this is where he's going to throw it through.
So he's throwing it as the motorcycle goes by.
And the motorcycle is going by at 85 miles an hour at that time.
Who volunteered for that? Hey, listen, you drive the motorcycle. By the way, you're going to drive it through this sheet. Throw it quick. Here's Arrieta. And Arrieta drives this ball down the left field line, and it is a foul ball. So Jake Arrieta, he's kind of like Madison Bumgarner. He's the right-handed version. Because not only can he pitch, but he can hit. And he can hit the long ball. Earlier this year, down at Chase Field, one of the longest home runs in baseball this year. Look where this thing lands.
That would take me 2 swings to get it up there in Arizona.
That went 440 feet. Arrieta, check this out. Arrieta has allowed, since last June 21st, he's allowed 4 home runs. He's hit 3 himself. Here's the 0-2.
Well, if you hold the bat, if you can control the bat, and it just gives you more opportunities. So Joe Madden, obviously, he's not going to ever pull Jake Arrieta, but if you were ever in a situation where you can handle the bat, you can get a bunt down, and you are scary with the bat in your hand, and you give quality at bats like he's giving right now, you can refrain from using a pinch hitter at times.
You know who he used as inspiration when he was with Baltimore and really struggling, and he considered quitting. He considered giving it up. He did. He looked at Roy Halladay and the fact that Roy Halladay, that is strikeout number 6, Roy Halladay early in his career with Toronto was sent all the way back down to Gulf Coast League.
Wow.
From the big leagues.
That's right.
All the way down to A-ball. And he resurrected, as we all know, because Roy Halladay ought to be in the Hall of Fame. He got back and he became a dominant pitcher. But Jake Arrieta used Roy Halladay's, failures and his struggles as motivation, because he was very close to telling his wife at the time, you know what, I'm done. I can't take it anymore. I'm not having the success I feel I should have. And the Orioles basically gave him away. I mean, the trade with the Cubs.
Oh man,
is one of
it's
now
a fleecing. Yeah,
yes.
It's a fleecing.
It's a felony now.
Scott Feldman, Steve Clevenger for Pedro Strop, who's one of the better guys in their bullpen.
Better setup guys, power arm.
Former Rocky shortstop, Jake Arrieta, and then 2 international, was it slot picks?
Slots. And it's funny, when the Cubs did the deal with Jim Duquette in Baltimore, they said, listen, we need another power arm in there. That's how they got Strop. And Clevenger was all along going to be a backup catcher. And Feldman, they need another starting pitcher. turned into a fleecing. When you look at the trade, we mentioned this before, the trade the Rockies made with the Cubs. When Dan O'Dowd got Tyler Colvin and DJ LeMahieu. And Colvin, before he got hurt his first year, he had a terrific year with the Rockies. We know how good DJ's been. For Casey Weathers, never been healthy, never got in the big leagues, now hurt in the Cleveland Indians organization. And Ian Stewart, who just was released out of AAA, that's strike 3. So what a job by Bergman. He bounces back in the 5th after a pair of solo home runs and strikes out the side, but the Rockies trailed 2-0. Here's our first bank game recap. The Rockies trailing the Cubs, a pair of home runs by Anthony Rizzo and Jorge Soler back-to-back. Cargo has a hit. Garneau has the only extra base hit for the Rockies. Christian Bergman, other than a pair of home runs, I mean, he really matched up nicely with Arrieta. In fact, he struck out 7 and walked 1 in his 5 innings of work. The Rockies will go to the bench here. He's due up first. A terrific outing by Bergman. His last 20 pitches, check this out, his last 20 pitches were all in the strike zone. So he'll give way to Brandon Barnes here, leading off the 6th inning. Adames Story to follow against Arrieta. And that is on 1 hop to second. Baez will throw out Brandon Barnes. Christian Adames a strikeout and a ground out. The Rockies got Garneau to third with 1 out in the 3rd. Adames hit a ball at Anthony Rizzo and Garneau could not advance, and then Trevor Story struck out to end the inning. And strike. So Arrieta now closing in on 46 scoreless innings at Wrigley Field, which is the longest stretch ever of scoreless baseball thrown since this museum was opened in 1914.
July 25th of last year was the last time a Major League Baseball team scored at Wrigley Field off Jake Arrieta.
Crazy. So this morning, it took me around, because you got the tour yesterday from Dexter, and I hadn't gotten the tour yet of the Cubs new clubhouse. They had to excavate underneath the stands, and it's like you go back to the future. Here you're in this relic of Wrigley Field, and then you walk in their clubhouse, and it's like from 2100. I feel like you're well into the future. Yeah. I saw one of the Jetsons fly by.
I was talking to Chris Russin and DJ LeMahieu. Both are former Cubs and have played in the old clubhouse. And I asked him, I said, did you go over there? And they go, no, tell me about it. And I was telling him about the hyperbaric chamber and the float pod that they have.
No swing. They check it out at third with Marvin Hudson. 3-2 on Christian. It's a palace, man.
It is insane. It's second in size only to Yankee Stadium.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't miss a beat in there. Kind of like the Rockies spring training facility. You could think it up. It's there. Broken bat, fly ball, shallow center. Dexter coming on will make the catch. And here's some video of the clubhouse, the new Cubs clubhouse.
LED lightings throughout. Their nameplates are in the locker. It's not something that you can just simply pull out. Dexter and Jason Hayward, locker buddies. These guys are saying, are you serious? This, really? That's Chris Bosio, that is, or Bussy, that is the strength coach, who cried when he first saw it.
Shoot, there were some guys saying, listen, I'm going to cancel my lease in Chicago. I'm just going to sleep in the clubhouse. It's my new home. 2-out Story at the plate. And they, you know, the weight room. They folks, out in extreme right center field is where the hitting tunnels were shared by the visiting team and the home team. So you'd see guys, you know, troop out to right center field and go underneath the stands. That was the only place you could hit. Now the Cubs obviously have, you know, 2 tunnels, which is where the old locker room was. And then they have all of this in the expansive hallways. All sorts of memorabilia from seasons past, great photos. I mean, it is fantastic. And the good news for all the visitors, next year when the Rockies come to Wrigley, they'll not quite as nice, I'm sure, as that side, but there will be a new clubhouse for the visitors. That's a strike. And it's 1-2 on Trevor. 2 strikeouts for Trevor against Jake Arrieta in the ball game.
Well, pitchers are going to continue to pound Trevor Story outside. Right now, his batting average on pitches outside is 3rd lowest in baseball. Only Troy Tulowitzki has a lower batting average, and Trevor's is at 100.
And he tried to get that fastball on the outer edge right there. Just missed. 2-2. It's part of the education of a young hitter, a young talented hitter. Trevor Story. That's a tough pitch to lay off of. He got him to chase that. So, you know, he filed it away. Second time he saw it, he spit on it.
You have to. Well, that's a situation. He's looking outside. That is where Arrieta's been attacking him. You can look out there. If you're hunting fastball, you can recognize that pitch because you're looking outside.
2 outs, 3-2 on Trevor Story. We're in the 6th inning. The Cubs up 2-0. Looks like he held up. Oh, they punch him out at first, and that's going to end the inning. Vic Carapazza said he went around. And that is strikeout number 8. Middle of 6, 2-0. Thought he held up. Here's our Kubota pitching performance. Look at the work of Christian Bergman. Christian really pitched well. He gave solo home runs to Anthony Rizzo and Jorge Soler. Other than that, nothing really. And he struck out 7, walked just 1 in 5 innings. The problem is, the guy he's facing hadn't given up a thing in forever. Really strong performance by Christian Bergman. And now the Rockies will hand the baseball to David Hale. David was hurt a little bit during spring training. Chris Bryant hits it in the air to Cargo in right center. 1 pitch, 1 out. Interesting numbers if you look beyond the obvious last year with David Hale. Now, look, the ERA is unsightly at 6.09, but look at the strikeout to walk ratio.
It's 3-1, and that's really a number that you'd like to see from Rocky starters, being able to get the strikeouts. We've seen him multiple times get 9 strikeouts in a game. He's got that ability. We just want to see it. We want to see it transfer at the major league level. Obviously, he got hurt last year. He was hurt in spring training. But I don't think I've yet to see what this Princeton graduate has. He's a Princeton grad, isn't he?
Yeah. From the Atlanta area, here's Rizzo with the 1-0 count, and that's in there for a strike, according to Bill Welke, 1-1. Rizzo reached the seats in right on a breaking ball down against Bergman. Moved Meyer in a 1 for 21. 31 jacks last year. He's really capable. Three and 1.
Well, only Paul Goldschmidt and Giancarlo Stanton have more home runs than Anthony Rizzo in the last 3 years.
And Rizzo hit 32 2 years ago. That's pulled foul. That'll scatter the Rockies bullpen.
Last year, the Chicago Cubs bullpen played a game, don't move. So foul balls, they refused to move.
I would say that that's probably not the most intelligent game to play, just saying.
I said relief pitchers were intelligent.
The walk to Rizzo. 1 out, 1 on. Jorge Soler coming up. See what the Cowboys up to. Trace?
Hey, Drew, before the game, talking to Joe Madden, and I asked him if the changes here to affect the ball at all, the outfield. He said dead center field, they didn't make any changes. The ball still dies. But he said if you hit it down the right field line with the scoreboard where they have the lineups, the ball carries very well. And if you hit it to straightaway left field, the wind does not knock it down with that big board out there in left field. If you notice those 2 home runs that were given up, Rizzo hit his right down the line, and Soler hit it to left field right in front of that scoreboard. That's what we've seen today and yesterday. When the balls go to center field, they don't carry.
I always think back to, as a player, I played here when those big boards were not up. And if the wind's blowing, it doesn't matter if those boards are up or down. The ball's not going to carry if it's blowing in. But some of the guys on the other team, and Tracy's right, if you hit it into left center, you're seeing the ball carry just a bit more. And it's 368 to left center field, so you're seeing a lot more home runs in that little, what do they call that, the catch? The buckets?
Yeah, in the basket.
In the basket.
Soler bounces this one foul. Boy, he takes a big hack, doesn't he?
It's under control. If it's in the zone, he swings hard in the zone. We haven't seen him chase too much outside of the zone. Yes, it is awesome seeing the Cowboy talking Rockies.
Two and 1 on Soler, a single and a home run in the ball game. Rizzo, who can runs at first base. With the alignment of the Rockies defense, you don't have to do the you-me up the middle on coverage. It's going to be Christian Adames, because He's the only one near the bag.
And what's great is I've seen the Rockies work on this alignment and take double play balls in spring training.
That's pulled into the seats foul.
So if Nolan gets a ground ball hit to him, Adames knows how to get to the bag and make this turn. It's not a normal double play depth for any infielder. 3 infielders on the left side of the field. And those are opportunities now when you're looking at baseball and how much they're shifting that you have to practice these type of shifts.
And a high fly ball to Cargo and right has been busy this afternoon. Does he see it? Yep. His arms out as if he didn't see it for a moment. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Javier Baez.
Coors Field is a great place for group outings. Groups of 25 or more receive discounted pricing, scoreboard recognition, and other great benefits. Call today for more information. Put your picture up on the Jumbotron.
That's Aaron Munoz. We showed him a moment ago, and we haven't had a chance to talk about Aaron this year. He's the Rockies' new bullpen catcher. He was in Albuquerque last year. He's a former player and a terrific guy, high energy guy. And that is a job that's not just, you know, a throwaway kind of position. It's a really important position. Aaron has been well received and is really well liked in his first season with the big club.
You talk about an opportunity. This is a guy that got released and was going to be out of baseball. And Jeff Salazar, my buddy, roommate and double-A hitting coach, told him, hey, be a pitching coach, be a bullpen catcher, anything, do something. And here he is.
Way to stay in the game and putting on a big league uniform every day. Congrats to Aaron Munoz. 2 outs. Javier Baez, a single and a strikeout. Runner takes off, throw to second, wrong side of the bag. I don't think that Dustin Garneau had any chance of getting Rizzo anyhow.
No, he had no shot on that one.
17 bags for Rizzo a year ago, and this is his first steal of the year, first attempt.
Well, his feet were moving before David Hale even threw the pitch, and David with a high leg kick, easy stolen base for Rizzo. He must have had his Rizzos this morning. I need to get those. He wasn't in the locker room this morning for me to get his new cereal.
Tell me about that. I thought you were going to get us some. Some have breakfast at Champions, others have Rizzos. 1-2 on Baez. Baez fouls this one off out of play. Man, what a gorgeous day here in Chicago. And really pleasant because as many of you know, you can come to Chicago this time of year and have to really bundle up. We hope everybody back home is doing just that. We're not trying to rub it in. I know you guys are dealing with, well, maybe you are, Spilly.
Shorts and t-shirts.
Everybody's doing well back home. David Hale with a strikeout of Baez. So Rizzo left at second base. We'll go to the 7th. The Rockies trailing Jake Arrieta and the Cubs 2-0. Let's check the Cooney Lexus look back. And the only scoring came in the 4th inning. Christian Bergman, who pitched really well, gave up a solo shot to Anthony Rizzo. And then right behind that, on the very next pitch, Jorge Soler would go deep, also on a curveball. This one to left center field. That's it. The Rockies against Jake Arrieta have 2 singles and a double. Arrieta begins the 7th inning. One of the guys with a base hit is Cargo, a 21-game hitting streak now dating back to last year. Cargo, Arenado, and Parra in the 7th inning. Look at Arrieta's line. Kind of typical of what he's been doing for a long time now. 6 innings, 3 hits. Nobody's walked. 8 strikeouts. He's phenomenal. And Cargo hits this ball sharply, and what a play by Addison Russell, who takes a hit away from Cargo. Is that Baez? That's Baez over there. Correct that. And Baez is a shortstop by trade. He showed great range. This ball was smoked.
Great first step quickness off to his left. He's able to dive, gather the glove and the ball, and make a quick, easy throw. You can see on the Subaru Supermo how he extends, sets himself on the ground from the knees, and makes a nice strike to finish that play off.
Nolan popped to short and hit a ball well to center field. Just didn't go anywhere, to the point Tracy was making in his conversation with Joe Matt. This one's popped up to Baez. A lot of quick at bats. That happens, I guess, when you have a guy that you know is going to be around the plate, and also a guy typically you don't want to get in deep counts with, because he gets even nastier, doesn't he?
There's always different approaches that you can take against a guy like this, and when you're aggressive, if he's in the zone and your team is firing at him, a lot of times a pitcher like Arrieta isn't used to seeing a group of guys being really aggressive, and at times I've talked to other pitchers, they go, man, is my stuff not working that well today? The other approach is to try and take as many pitches as possible and try to see if you can raise the pitch count up. The Rockies are aggressive by nature. We know that. They're not going to have high on-base percentages. They're going to swing at a pitch in the zone. And this year they've been doing a good job of putting the ball in play when they do get a pitch this time.
There's a good bunt by Parra. Arrieta's not going to have a play, so a bunt single for Gerardo. That'll bring up Mark Reynolds, who could tie it with one swing. The day after every Rockies victory, get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. Hope you take advantage of that today. Make sure you use the promo code ROCKSWIN at papajohns.com. Rockies winners of 3 straight, 6-4 on the young season. Cubs are off to an 8-2 start. Last time they were 8-2 was 1989. Walt Weiss and the A's beat the San Francisco Giants in the Earthquake World Series. Reynolds a single and a strikeout. Here's the thing you know about Mark. He is going to be aggressive, and even with 2 strikes, he's going to get his big cut off.
He views the swing an out as an out, whether he strikes out or if he grounds out. So he might as well take his best swing, and that's it. That's his normal swing. Try to square it up and hit it hard and see where it lands.
That's in there.
I think when you look at starters and good starters in the major leagues, it's the ability to go through lineups 3 straight times, 3 times through. And as we've seen with Arrieta, 3rd time through the lineup, he still has a 691 OPS. People aren't hitting him 3 times through.
0-2 on Mark. Parra takes off, and the throw to second isn't going to get him. So Parra with another stolen base. Gerardo has 3 now on the season.
2-strike count. You're going to take a guess that he's going to go to an off-speed pitch, and Parra just getting out there. If he strikes out or you get thrown out at second base, start off the next inning with Reynolds leading off with a fresh count. Now you're in scoring position, and a base hit scores a run easy.
Outfield straight up, infield basically straight up also for Reynolds. Here's the 1-2. The slider, and it's fouled off.
Reynolds does have a home run against Arrieta in his career.
He's 3 for 14 lifetime against Arrieta. Inside, 2-2. Last pitch, number 90 for Jake Arrieta. 13-0 and 0.62 ERA since August 1st of last year. Amazing. And this ball slowly hit to short. Parra tried to fluster Addison Russell, but Russell completes the play. Middle of 7 at Wrigley Field. It remains 2-0 Cubs. Rockies, and pair of runs on 2 home runs for Chicago. Let's look at this final out of the inning. And you know what? Because I didn't see that, because Parra put his hands down to pretend he was fielding it. He actually was called out. So home plate umpire Bill Welke. So it's scored 6 unassisted if you keep a book at home, and not 6-3. You can jump over the baseball and, yes, try to distract, but you can't do what Parra did.
No. Years ago,
I've never seen that before, honestly.
Years ago, Alex Rodriguez on a fly ball, he yelled, "I got it." Remember that play?
Yes.
The ball fell in between the third baseman and the shortstop.
Well, Mark Reynolds, you know what's interesting about that rule also? I didn't realize this. You learn something new every day, right?
Jason Knowles.
Mark Reynolds, you see Jason Durka warm up. Mark Reynolds does not get an at-bat there, which I double checked that. That's what I've been told. That doesn't sound right. Great play by Nolan to take a bunt single away from Addison Russell.
That's as good of a bunt as Addison Russell can lay down. If anything, he bunted it too hard because Nolan was able to get to it quick, but you see how he opens his hand. He opens it as wide as possible so he's able to get the ball into his hand easy, and the transfer is just so incredible.
And the throw is perfect.
It's every time. The throw is right on the money.
Matt Caesar takes a strike.
See how he opens his hand nice and wide. That allows the ball to go in, and one-step throw.
And plenty on it because he's not throwing it. He's throwing it with more of a changeup grip. 2 strikes on Caesar.
Well, we're always taught in the outfield, you're taught to try to hold it with a 4-seam grip that allows backspin for you to throw it. But many times when we receive the ball, you're just throwing it. You don't have an opportunity to turn the ball in your hand and get the proper grip. I remember making throws where you're holding on the ball with your 2 fingers, with the pinky and your ring finger.
It's lobbed into left center, a base hit.
Don't miss the action when the New York Yankees make a rare appearance at Coors Field on June 14th and 15th. Get your tickets today. Bronx Bombers.
The Bronx Bombers have a lot of age in their lineup, don't they?
The old Bronx Bombers.
The old Bronx Bombers. David Ross at the plate, 1 out, 1 on. Ross, a fly ball to right field and a strikeout. 2-0 Cubs, bottom of 7. Think about their team. You got A-Rod, you have McCann, you have Teixeira.
From the group, CC Sabathia.
Inside. Forget Beltran. Carlos Beltran.
That's right.
Ball and a strike. We have a Twitter question. Why don't right-handed pitchers typically throw a changeup to righty hitters?
You know, you see it not too often, and part of the reason why is because if a changeup to the right-handed hitter is located up in the zone, it's usually a home run pitch. And for when you're a right-hander, you're trying to get the ball to move away from the right-handed hitters. Sliders, unless you can throw sinkers inside. Changeup, if you miss location, I think if Jose Lima had a great changeup, guys with great plus changeups, you can throw at any count. If your changeup is average, speeds up our bat, and you miss location, that ball is getting hit a long way.
Did you identify the changeup out of the hand? How did you identify? Did you ever see were your eyes good enough to ever see?
Of course, I could read Rob Manfred's name on the ball.
Now I know you're lying because when you were playing, Rob Manfred's name wasn't on the ball.
When you're looking as a hitter, you call it hard focus, soft focus. So when you're at the plate, you're kind of looking big picture at the entire field. Then you hard focus onto, let's say, David Hale's hat, and then you'll transfer from the hat to his release point. We don't see the hand of a changeup or slider. It's too quick. But what you can see is arm speed. We notice the difference in arm speed. So if a guy slows down at all with a curveball or slider, we can pick that up right away. So when a guy has a great changeup, it's the same arm speed, and you can't differentiate between fastball and changeup. And that's what allows it. And of course, we can pick up spin as well. So certain pitchers will throw a 2-seam changeup to match up with a 2-seam fastball.
David Hale with a 2-2 count on David Ross. Ross has had a long career. He's got to the big leagues with the Dodgers, and that'll be a stolen base for Caesar.
Well, to me, Cubs base runners see something with David Hale. Caesar is moving his feet again, just like Anthony Rizzo was. David Hale's not quick to the plate. He does have a high leg kick as it goes home, and it's 2 stolen bases where Garneau has no chance to even make a throw.
And Hale loses Ross. Jake Arrieta going over to consult with Joe Madden. He started it to the plate, and then Joe Madden called him over. Told him what they're going to do here. You know, so we're going to have you bunt, or we're going to have you try to bunt a strike, and if you fail to do that, you're going to swing away. Is that what the conversation was?
I think it's with a 2-run lead, the way Arrieta's throwing right now, and how he can handle the bat. I think they're telling him to go ahead and swing away.
Jake Arrieta, fly ball to right field, and a strikeout. 2 on and 1 out. Cubs up 2-0. Bottom of 7. And he's swinging.
You have 1 out, runners at first and second. A bunt puts 2 guys in scoring position for Dexter, but you're asking somebody to get a hit with 2 outs. So Arrieta handles the bat well enough where he has a chance of getting a base hit. All fans through the gates on Saturday, April 23rd, will receive a monthly wall calendar courtesy of us here at Root Sports. It came out of my paycheck.
Very nice of you, Billy.
You're welcome, everybody. I didn't tell my wife. She doesn't know that.
She has no idea?
No.
This is great. You've worked these trips well. The last trip you went on, you moved, and I dropped you at home. Stacy's carrying 50,000 boxes into your new house. This ball's to center field. Parra goes back, makes the catch. Tagging is Caesar. He'll move up 90 feet, first and third with 2 outs. Then on this particular trip, it just works out that Denver's getting blasted with snow. So she's got your little ones at home, and she's got a shovel.
Sorry, babe.
Really?
Sorry, not sorry.
Sincere.
Sorry, not sorry.
Now let's change. I thought that scoring was wrong. You can't take away Reynolds' at bat. Reynolds actually gets a base hit on that.
Wow.
And it's 6 unassisted.
Nice play, Parra.
Here's Dexter. 0 for 2 and a walk. This one may be playable for Rayburn, and that's what's so tough about Wrigley Field. And again, Rayburn hasn't played many games here. He's an American League guy, so he's running, he's looking at the wall, he's looking at the mound.
An exposed bullpen is the worst. Right there, you lose footing, walk right into it.
It's dangerous, too. Fortunately, he's all right.
San Francisco, you have to worry about it too. They forgot to put one there. And years ago, San Diego Padres had bullpens on the field, so you had to look out for 3 bullpens on the playing field. And did you notice the Cubs bullpen never moved?
Yeah, well, that wasn't going to happen.
I'm assuming on days where Arrieta pitches, they don't move very often.
The pillows down there when he's on the mound. 2 and 1. Hale trying to keep it a 2-run game here in the bottom of the 7th. The Atlanta natives going at one another, and this ball's well hit to right center field, and it's gone. 3-run home run for Dexter Fowler, his second of the year. And now the Cubs are up 5-0. Rockies fans have seen this before, both many times with the Rockies and now against the Rockies. Did it to him last year.
Dexter's gotten stronger and stronger over the last couple of years. Last year, getting a career high in home runs. And that swing right there has gotten so much better. He talks about Barry Bonds being his mentor and working with him on his swing. And not quite Barry Bonds, but he's gotten more balance and he's getting the bat head to the ball a lot faster.
17 home runs last year for Dexter. He's been capable of putting up a decent number of home runs. A lot of leverage, man. Long levers. 6'6". Dex one of those strange guys that grew from his 20th birthday forward. He grew another inch in pro ball.
And he's put on a lot of muscle in the last couple years.
Third home run of the ball game for Chicago.
Dexter started hitting, you can see on the Subaru Supermo, he started hitting left-handed in 2005. He was a right-handed hitter. He has transformed himself. He has worked his tail off to get that left-handed swing.
Chris Bryant fouls that pitch off at the plate. It's 1-2 on Bryant. 0 for 3, a couple of strikeouts against Bergman. So Dexter has extended this Cub lead now to 5-0. The Rockies have allowed 13 seventh-inning runs this year, which is tied for the most in Major League Baseball. That's going to be that's going to be a swinging bunt for a single for Bryant.
That is happiness for a hitter. For a pitcher, that is a well-executed pitch and a really bad result. Cutter off the plate. Bryant goes chasing after it and cannot swing and bunt that any better.
Rockies are going to make a double switch here. With Anthony Rizzo coming up, they're going to bring Gurka into the ball game with 2 outs. Mark Reynolds is going to come out. Ben Paulson will come in. So Paulson will hit third next inning. It's 7, 8, 9 in the 8th for the Rockies. Cubs up 5-0 on the 3-run home run by Dexter Fowler. Run of the year, and it's 5-0 Chicago. 2 outs in the 7th. The swinging bunt for Chris Bryant, so he's on. Now Anthony Rizzo coming up, and Jason Gurka will take over. Ben Paulson at first.
Gurka's last outing through 3 innings against the San Francisco Giants. 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 strikeouts.
Saved the bullpen that day.
He did. He's probably going to be tasked to do the same thing today. Finish the game.
There's a walk and stole a base in the 6th inning. 2-0. Cubs are plus 43 in run differential this year. That's in their 2-1.
That's
last year,
yeah.
And think about it. Last year they were a 97-win team, and they were plus, I think it was 81 on the season, just over 80. So you're more than halfway there, and you're 10.5 games in.
Well, we know they lead baseball with the most amount of walks, and their pitching staff leads baseball with the least amount of walks.
Good combination. The highest on-base percentage in baseball. Rizzo hits a towering pop-up. Paulson's not going to have a play.
That almost hit the Cowboy.
Got the big Stetson on.
You see it right there. What's up, Cowboy?
Well, we're not going to show.
Yeah, guys.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm just fine. You know, just did hit over to the right. You don't get overreactions to that. It's just like being out in a snowball fight. You don't overreact. You keep everybody on their feet.
Well, they're having a snowball fight in Denver, I think, right now.
Yeah, my wife sent me a text message wanting to know what it was like to see sunshine and blue skies.
Yeah, what do you have, like 8 feet up there in Cheyenne?
We're supposed to get 15 to 16, but with that 40-mile-an-hour wind, it can change it.
That's like flurries for you guys. 5-0 Cubs. Chicago in their lives, Wrigley Field. And we have a question from Twitter Talk. What's it like broadcasting from the booth at Wrigley Field? Well, first of all, I love coming to Wrigley Field. Love going to Fenway, two most historic parks in baseball. Honestly, the booth here is the smallest in baseball. Now they're in phase 2 right now for renovating. Hundreds of millions of dollars. We showed you the new clubhouse, the scoreboards last year. Phase 5 will be this press box, and I look forward to that because this is really tight. And unfortunately, the windows, because it's still April, they haven't taken the windows out. They do it all at once. It's the only place we'll go this year where we're talking into glass. Because even if it's cold out,
I'm stuck in here.
Even if it's cold out, normally our windows are open, and so it's a little tougher, but it's just a joy to be here. And it'll be nice in 3 years when you have a
You're right.
more modern booth.
I don't know any better, so I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I enjoy the friendly confines. I enjoy walking down the hall of the press box. There's a great picture of Harry Carey sitting with Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
I love that picture. I might take it.
I would not advise that. I think they'll notice. Ryan Rayburn drives one to left field and deep. Fair or foul? It is a foul ball. Rayburn to pop out and a strikeout. Well, the booth here, but it is part of the charm of Wrigley Field because you literally can't move your chair back because you bump into the stairwell. There's not a lot of room, for monitors and all our notes and our scorebook and books and that sort of thing. But it is what it is, and it's still an absolute joy and privilege to be here. 3-1 on Ryan Rayburn. Rayburn, Garneau, Paulson here in the visiting half of the 8th inning. There's Dustin. Arrieta has struck out 8, and that ball is ripped foul. It's now 47 2/3 scoreless baseball hurled by Arrieta at Wrigley Field. Longest by any pitcher since Wrigley opened in 1914.
Just watching Arrieta, he repeats his delivery over and over again, and just watching where he sets up. He sets up on the extreme third base side of the rubber, and he really creates a nice angle for him with the crossfire. The angles he creates, the ability to throw to the outside part of the plate, inside, is just amazing.
And ball 4, good at bat for Rayburn. That is the first walk allowed by Arrieta today. Who Wants Tacos? Fans follow at @RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies score 7 or more runs. Handy thing to have. Dustin Garneau's 1 for 2. He had a double back in the 3rd inning leading off. Stranded eventually at third base. Also a ground ball to Addison Russell at short.
Well, with that walk, Pedro Strop is starting to warm up, and Strop, we mentioned before, was part of the deal that got Arrieta here from Baltimore.
It's a 5-4-3 double play.
Arrieta, 99 pitches. I heard Joe Madden talk about he's going to try to loosen the workload early in the season to give him more rest, so at the end of the year, I mean, this is a team that there's predicted to go to the World Series and win it. So he's going to try to
lighten the load
so he can keep him strong through October.
Well, here's something else to keep in mind. Last year, Jake Arrieta threw 72 more innings than he had in any previous season. You wonder, is there going to be a carryover effect? Well, so far, not really. This pitch in the air to Dexter in center. Then Paulson flies out, and it turns out to be another quick and efficient inning for Jake Arrieta. 8 shutout innings, 5-0 Cubs. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Jack in the Box. Taste the Jumbo-licious jumbo meal before it's gone. Only at Jack in the Box.
Get 2 tacos with that too? I'm hungry.
I'm hungry also. Have to take care of that in a little while. Jorge Soler at the plate takes a strike from Jason Gurka. Nobody's gone over to Jake Arrieta, who's thrown 100 pitches in 8 shutout innings and indicated that your day is done. And he is one of those starting pitchers. This is up the middle, and Adames somehow kept his concentration. Well done by Christian. Get back to Arrieta in a second. This was not an easy play because guys are flashing right in front of his face.
Well, you can see Adames with the grin on his face and laughing at Trevor Story. Trevor Story's running a long way to try to get that ball, and Adames, we know, is a shortstop. Trevor barely gets out of the way, and Adames, with his glove down, somehow picks it and makes the throw.
That was not easy.
No.
Javier Baez in infield hitting a couple of strikeouts and a big swing and a miss, 0-1. So to finish on Arrieta, Joe Madden was telling us before the ball game that Arrieta is one of those starting pitchers that, because he seems calmer on the days he pitches, you can talk to him. Now he's going underneath. I don't know if if that means anything. He may just taking a walk.
Yeah.
But he's one of those guys that you can approach. You played a long time in the big leagues. There's some starting pitchers you stayed away from the day they hurled, right?
Some guys even 2 or 3 days before it, where you couldn't talk to them. They're getting their mind right.
There's no action in the Cubs bullpen, and that's the biggest indicator of all that they're going to give him an opportunity to finish this.
Well, and Jake will have to go through the top of the lineup if he wants to get through for a complete game.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I wonder if it would be the same if Dexter Fowler does not hit that 3-run home run, because the Rockies would be in a 2-run game then, and you're on the old bloop and a blast. Big tip of the cap again to Christian Bergman. He really pitched well for 5 innings. Gave up the solo home runs back-to-back in the 4th to Rizzo and Soler, but struck out 7, walked just 1. Last 20 pitches were all in the strike zone. This ball is hit hard to right center field, and Parra knocks it down, but it'll still be a double for Baez.
MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is now available. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game in true HD on over 400 devices.
Addison Russell coming up. Got there, Spilly. What this time called? Catcher called time. That's what they were. That's what our umpire Bill Welke was indicating. Ball 1 on Russell. How you doing? You don't mind if I lean on you to get up?
Nope. Well, I want you to pay attention. That's Gary Jones. That's the Cubs' third base coach. And see where he's standing. He's next to the opening day emblem. He will walk back and be on the dirt. And you can see the coach's box. He's well 15 feet from it. And part of the reason why is he's trying to get him out of the way of Addison Russell, who he thinks is going to pull a ball foul towards him.
Try pick play again. This one goes into center field. And on the throwing error by Gurka, now you're going to have to pull the infield in as Baez is at third with one out.
They're paying a lot of attention with the Adames and the shift that they have for him. And Gurka just throws the ball into the outfield. You have to throw the ball on the second base side.
Infield in, 1-0 the count on Addison Russell. He's 0 for 3 in the game. There's 3 errors credited to pitchers in this series, though quite frankly, the one early in the ball game yesterday on Kyle Hendricks was a joke. Hendricks said after the game, I didn't even get my glove on it. The Rockies, I believe, have filed an appeal with the commissioner's office to change that ruling from an error to an infield hit for Nolan Arenado. Travis Wood, the starting pitcher, now working out of the bullpen. Good athlete. Those guys who can really hit. 2-2, and it ought to be changed around. That error yesterday.
We said it yesterday as soon as it happened, and we've both kept it in our books as a base hit. Arrieta still looks like he has his game face on. I don't believe he's coming out for any reason yet.
3-2. Maybe just concerned that if it's a really lengthy half inning that he's sitting for too long. Well, in the past they had nowhere to go to loosen up. Now you have the fabulous clubhouse. It's, you know, steps away with huge weight room, bikes to stay loose. And ball 4, Gurka loses Russell.
Walt's wondering if that's inside. It's a cutter inside to Addison Russell. You can see how Garneau is able to stick that pitch and give a good look for Bill Welke, but Welke says it's a ball.
Now Steve Foster will go out. Take a look at our CenturyLink. What's next? Tomorrow, the conclusion of this 3-game series between the Rockies and Cubs. Tyler Chatwood for the Rockies, John Lester for Chicago. That'll be good matchups, Billy.
Looking forward to it. Tyler Chatwood, I know, is looking forward to it. He's pitched very, very well. Last year, John Lester dominated the Rockies here in Chicago. Nobody's warming up at the pen for the Rockies. Gurka's going to have to find his way out of this inning.
Caesar, a fly ball to right, a line out and a base hit to right, and he takes ball 1. That was an all-purpose running back at Villanova. In addition to a baseball player there. National champs in hoops. Imagine Matt was pretty fired up about that.
Oh, I'm sure he's been talking a lot of trash to the guys in the Cubs clubhouse. That's what you do. You win a national championship, guess what? You'll let everybody know about it.
Taking a quick glance at their roster to see if there are any Carolina guys. And that's nowhere close. That's 3-0. Walt Weiss was heartbroken at the outcome of the national championship game.
Well, I know Walt would not want to have to get another bullpen pitcher up today.
No, it's why in the 5-run game he double switched and put Ben Paulson in. He wants Gurka to finish it. You know, you do everything you can. That's ball 4. That's going to load him up. You do everything you can to win the game that day. But in some situations, you're also mindful of the next day and the day after that.
You have to line yourself up for wins. And right now it's 5-0. Arrieta's been virtually untouchable. Crazy things can happen as Arrieta's coming out onto the on-deck circle. He is going to finish this game. But you're right, you try to manage the game right now, but also understand that you're going to have a good game tomorrow.
Ross hits it to deep enough right field that Cargo is just going to throw it back in. That'll bring home a 6th run as Baez scores. 6-0. Russell also tagged from second and went to third on the sac fly by Ross. First RBI of 2016 for the veteran David Ross. Crowd reacting to the announcement that Jake Arrieta is going to swing the bat. I understand that means he'll have an opportunity to get a complete game. Oh for 3 today for Arrieta. Jake turned 30 in March, in early March. He's out in front, 1-1. On the outside corner, a strike.
Texas Christian University, TCU. Horned Frogs.
Great baseball program. Something like 25-4 with TCU.
He looks like a hitter. Did he hit it all at TCU?
Hit now. And Gurka strikes him out to end the inning. Another run for the Cubs on the sac fly by Ross. 6-0 as we go to the 9th at Wrigley. Guys, Jake Arrieta is coming out of the ball game, getting fist bumps and hugs all around, despite hitting in the bottom of the 8th inning. He's going to give way to Travis Wood in the 9th. 6-0 Chicago. And for Travis Wood, he's already been in 5 ball games this year. Christian Adames, the top of the Rockies order, is coming up against Wood. So Arrieta extends his shutout streak at Wrigley Field, Spilly, to 48 2/3. It's an ongoing Wrigley Field record. Playing baseball here for more than a century. 8 innings. He allowed 5 hits because of that hit given to Mark Reynolds on the interference by Gerardo Parra. He walked only 1. That was in the 8th inning, and he struck out 8. The 1.93 ERA he had coming in will go down.
Well, I can't picture any team scoring a run off of him the way he's pitching right now. That's the ace of baseball right there. That is baseball's ace.
Ground ball to third. Chris Bryant, 1 out. Well, yeah, you could have a nice debate around a cold one. Who would you take? Would you take Arrieta, or would you take Clayton Kershaw to start a 7th game? Jason Hayward's in right field defensively.
Defensive replacement on his day off. I don't know. I think based on what I saw right now, I mean, he's the best pitcher in baseball right now. That stuff is lights out. I mean, as good as Kershaw is right now, Arrieta's stuff is virtually untouchable. He's untouchable.
0.75 ERA in the second half last year. Tiffany?
There wasn't one ball squared up hard against Arrieta. Except for Garneau. Garneau hit a nice double into the game.
Trevor's behind 0-2. He struck out 3 times against Arrieta. Thought he walked, so did we, in the 6th inning on a 3-2 pitch that he checked his swing, and they checked it out at first with Vic Carapazza, and he said he went around.
You see the Cubs pitchers are going to continue to pound Trevor Story away. He has not been able to handle the fastballs or off-speed pitches away from him so far yet in his young career.
Slider in the dirt. It's 1-2. Arrieta today 10 times retired a hitter on 3 pitches or less, and he faced only 3 over the minimum. Got called time, don't you?
You should step out, reset, reattach your gloves, take a big deep breath.
What'd you learn about Arrieta at TCU?
He didn't hit. He just dominated on the mound like he did in big leagues.
In the air down the right field line, and this is a fair ball. So Story will go into second with a double. And I think Hayward, because of the situation in the game, said, I'm not running into that wall. I'll just field it off the Karen.
Well, there's not a lot of space, so on plays like that, unless you can catch the baseball, it's one of the few places in the outfield where you have to just let the ball go. It's a changeup up in the zone. Trevor Story handles the pitch away, which is great to see. And you can see Hayward is not going to go after that ball. Look how close it is to the line. Just pick it up and chalk it up as that's not a good 2-strike pitch.
And you saw the graphic, first career double for Story. So he got all the home runs out of the way. He has multiple triples. Cargo at the plate. And Cargo drives this ball to deep left center field, way back and gone. 2-run home run, Carlos Gonzalez. And the Rockies are on the board in the 9th. That's the 4th big fly of the year for Cargo. RBIs 9 and 10.
Left on left, fastball down and away. Cargo just driving the ball opposite field.
Is there a prettier left-handed swing in the game?
It's a newer version of Ken Griffey Jr. I mean, he talked about it. He talks when he was a kid, he would always emulate Ken Griffey Jr.'s finish. And even if he tried, he said he can't finish any other way.
Look at the all-time home run rate at Wrigley Field. Mark McGwire, home run every 7 at-bats, and then Cargo every 8.6 at-bats. So the Rockies break up the shutout as Cargo launches one to left center field. 6-2 in the 9th with 1 out. Pedro Strop up next. Pedro Strop warmed up quickly. He's already fired a strike to Nolan Arenado. 1 out in the 9th, 2-run home run by Cargo. It's 6-2 Cubs. And the former Rocky farmhand who always had a great arm, converted infielder Pedro Strop. You overlapped with him in the minor leagues.
We did. He was a shortstop when I was a year ahead of him. Playing low A baseball when he was still in short season, and spent many spring trainings with him, instructional league with him. Now his fastball averages 96 miles an hour. Great slider. Made it to the big leagues with the Texas Rangers. Little time with Baltimore Orioles, and has now found a nice home here in Chicago.
First learned about Strop from Mark Gustafson, who was the farm director of the Rockies at the time. Mark had a number of roles in the Rockies organization. Talked to Gus the other night. He was out scouting in the Kansas City area, and he told me about Strop and his great arm. And sure enough, this kid has carved out a very nice career as a setup man. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Gerardo Parra.
Well, there's that tight slider spin that Strop has, and for the birthday boy, he's not able to sit back and hit or make contact with that pitch. That's a filthy slider.
That's not a gift that one wants to receive on their birthday. Parra bunt single in the 7th, 1 for 3. Pitcher spots due up next. Tony Walters is on deck. 2-0 on Gerardo. Dead red, you get one spinning, huh?
Up 6-2, 2-0 count. You're not expecting a slider right there. You're trying to jump on a fastball. You know the fastball is going to be ranging up there at 96, 97 miles an hour. And then he throws a slider.
2-2. Back up the middle, Strokes got it, and that's the ball game. The Cubs prevail 6-2 to even up the series at 1 apiece. Rubber game coming tomorrow, and Tyler Chatwood takes on the lefty John Lester, but too much Jake Arrieta today. 8 shutout innings. The Rockies do get on the board in the 9th inning, a 2-run home run from Cargo. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. You got to tip your cap. Jake Arrieta has been virtually unhittable. And we know for more than 48 innings, nobody scored on him at Wrigley Field. 8 more shutouts today, 8 punch-outs, 1 walk. He was as advertised, as they say. So our Jimmy John's delivery of the game provided by the ace of the Chicago Cubs, 30-year-old Jake Arrieta. The Cubs with the victory are now 9-2. The Rockies fall to 6-5 in front of a sellout crowd of just shy of 42,000. From Wrigley Field, we take you to snowy Denver. And our Root Sports studios, here's Jenny and Corey.